Hello everyone. If you like this audiobook and want to listen to more, please consider subscribing. And if you like this video, like it as well, that it enjoy.
Chapter 1. Living Alone. At a hospital, it's born. A nurse said while picking up a newborn baby, but this baby was a bit unusual. He was born expressionless and did not cry. No way, how can a child not cry? Cry for me, why won't you cry? Saying that, she directly slapped the child's bottom a few times until the child's expression changed and he started crying. Only then did she relax and hand him over to the mother. Mama, how are you? Is your body okay? Is this the fruit of our love? A short-haired young man wearing glasses walked in and said, Yes, dear, this is our child. Small nose, small mouth, just like an angel, and he looks exactly like you. Seiki Kurumi said while holding Seiki Kunaharu's hand. Dear, have you already thought of a name for the child? Seiki Kunaharu picked up the baby beside him. Of course, I've decided. Let's call him Seiki Kusuo. 2 months later. In a room, oh my, we're out of soy sauce. Seiki Kurumi shook the empty soy sauce bottle in her hand. Wait, Mama, let me finish moving this box and then I'll help you. Seiki Kunaharu struggled to lift the box. At that moment, the 2-month-old baby suddenly stood up, floated into the air, came to his mother's side, picked up the wallet, teleported away and disappeared. The next second, when he reappeared, the baby was holding several bottles of soy sauce. Then he flew to Seiki Kunaharu's side, lifted the box with one hand effortlessly, and placed it in the spot where it was supposed to go. At that moment, the couple's expressions changed. They hugged their son and said very happily, as expected of my son. Yeah, I didn't expect Kusuo to know how to help his parents at such a young age. It's really so touching. Yar, these parents seem a bit abnormal. Kusuo really is as amazing and smart as Mama. No way, he's clearly as capable as Dad. So young and he already knows how to help around the house. The couple continued to shower each other with affection. A few minutes later, little Kusuo, is actually a psychic. Yar, so they finally noticed. 15 years later. Yar, finally I can live alone properly. A boy with pink messy hair, 2 arcade joysticks stuck on his head, wearing what looked like green toy glasses, put down his luggage and spoke while gently lowering the floating luggage in the air. From now on, this blank symbol belongs to inner thoughts and the protagonist speaking, while this symbol represents the protagonist's inner monologue and complaints. Ring. Seiki Kunaharu picked up the call. Moshi. Hey, little Kusuo, how is it? Have you moved in properly? Seriously, why do you want to move out alone and go study so far away? Is it because you don't like living with Mama and Papa? Woo I. Yar, Mom, didn't I tell you long ago? You know what it's like at home. I still prefer being out here with more freedom, and you also know how Grandpa treats me. Seiki Kurumi thought of her old man's appearance and shook her head. Well, that makes sense. So, have you finished moving in? Done, but be careful out there. Okay. Don't do anything bad. If you run out of money, tell Mom. Make more friends, don't always be alone. 10 minutes later, Seiki Kusuo hung up the phone. Yar, Mom can still talk so much. She's way too worried. Do I really seem that unreliable? That's right, this boy is no ordinary person. He is our protagonist, Seiki Kusuo, but not the one from the original The Disastrous Life of Seiki K's Everyday Disasters. Instead, he is a transmigrator. Due to a small accident 15 years ago, he transmigrated to this world and awakened the Seiki Kusuo template. After fully integrating into the Seiki Kusuo template, he achieved a qualitative improvement. He possessed most of Seiki Kusuo's psychic abilities, but he felt they were not as strong as in the original. At least, it was only after middle school that he gained the ability to easily punch through the moon. Now he has control over fire, instant teleportation, clairvoyance, telepathy, teleportation, psychokinesis, levitation. He can do most things that people in the world can't do. At first, after awakening his psychic powers, he was quite excited, thinking he could do anything and reach the peak of life in the future. But as time passed, that idea gradually faded. He did not do anything bad, at least, he eats beef. In his previous life, he did not even finish high school. Later, he worked for a few years and then stayed home writing novels, always yearning for a relaxed daily life. Now that he has transmigrated to this world and even gained money powers, he just wants to live a normal life with normal thoughts. However, his family conditions seem to not allow it. His grandfather started from nothing and now in Japan is somewhat well off, owning dozens of companies and dozens of real estate properties. Others might see it and say, share some of your well-off life with me, or even 1% would be enough. But Kusuo also feels that too much money and too high status are troublesome. He originally wanted his son Seiki Kunoharu to inherit the family business, but he was very rebellious and extremely interested in medicine. He refused to follow the family's arrangements and became the director of a hospital. Not licking boots, so later, he placed his hopes on his grandson. Originally, he wanted to place it on his eldest grandson Seiki Kusuke, but that kid didn't even graduate middle school before skipping grades to study at the University of Cambridge in London, England. No choice, he could only shift his focus to Seiki Kusuo. But the idea of forcing the inheritance that the parents did not complete onto Seiki Kusuo made Kusuo very annoyed. Because every time he went to see his grandfather, he would find all sorts of ways to train Seiki Kusuo, arranging a ton of things for him. It was really troublesome, even studying involved different courses and a pile of matters all dumped on him. Very troublesome. Of course, for Kusuo, this was actually fine. He could easily complete them. But he did not want his grandfather to put too much effort into him. At first, he pretended to study hard non-stop, then he kept performing poorly. But his grandfather was extremely stubborn. If he did not learn well, no problem, just double the effort. In the end, Seiki Kusuo could not stand it anymore. After showing extraordinary talent, his grandfather became even more excited and arranged even more things. Now, preparing to enter high school, he really could not take it anymore, so he transferred schools, left, and escaped his grandfather's arrangements, giving the reason that he wanted to train himself to live independently. Yar, starting tomorrow, I'll return to living alone. I'm actually a bit looking forward to it and nostalgic. Seiki Kusuo lay on the sofa. Although he did not really like studying, school was indeed an interesting entertainment venue, just like in his previous schools where he would encounter strange people. Many good and bad memories were basically from school. Kusuo recalled his previous life when he only went up to junior high, thinking about the days of mutual roasting with those bad friends at school. It was pretty nice. But that was a long time ago, and his junior high in this world compared to his previous schools, Thinking like this, Seiki Kusuo gradually fell asleep on the sofa. Chapter 2. Hero Saving Dog. Yar, I didn't expect that after sleeping, it's already dusk. Looking at the sun having set behind the mountains, turning everything to twilight, Seiki Kusuo sat up from the sofa. Seriously, I haven't even bought ingredients yet. Since he had just moved into this apartment and fell asleep right after putting things away, he had not bought any food. The refrigerator was completely empty. Moreover, he had just discovered that the supermarket downstairs had a special sale on coffee jelly. The sale was about to end soon, so he needed to hurry and buy some. Seiki Kusuo stood up, his mind completely filled with thoughts of coffee jelly. He quickly went to the entrance, put on his shoes, and rushed out the door. At the stairwell, a girl with flax-colored hair was happily turning the corner while carrying groceries and daily necessities. The next second, she saw Seiki Kusuo about to collide with her. In a panic, her left foot tripped, and her right foot lunged forward as she began to fall. Oh no! Seeing that he was about to crash into the girl, Seiki Kusuo forcibly changed his trajectory. He jumped with both feet, spun 2 full circles in the air, glanced backward with a flash in his eyes. The girl suddenly felt as if someone had tugged on the back collar of her clothes from behind. She steadied herself and stood safely. Seiki successfully leapt over the girl and landed at the stairwell entrance on both feet. The flaxen-haired girl, after feeling the tug, had an expression that said, "What just happened?" No. Just as Seiki Kusuo was getting up, the flaxen-haired girl stood and walked over to him with concern. Are you okay? I'm really sorry. It happened so suddenly earlier, and I got nervous and accidentally. It's fine. This isn't your fault. I was running too fast. Even though I was the one rushing down the hallway too fast and almost hit someone, why are you the one apologizing? After saying that, Seiki Kusuo turned and left. Now was not the time for this kind of thing. What a strange person. With that, the girl turned around, carrying her daily necessities and groceries, and headed back toward her own home. I'm not the strange one. 20 minutes later, Seiki Kusuo returned home carrying 2 bags of coffee jelly and 2 bags of groceries. Yar, I almost missed it. Good thing I made it in time. Sure, I could eat convenience store bentos, but home-cooked is healthier. And the coffee jelly is the main priority anyway. Seiki Kusuo held the coffee jelly with a blissful smile on his face as he walked to the refrigerator and put it inside. Although I want to eat it right now, it's better to wait until after dinner. After all, it's a dessert for after the meal. He turned, grabbed an apron and headscarf, picked up the groceries, and headed to the kitchen. A while later, Seiki Kusuo came out carrying 3 dishes and 1 soup. Itadakimasu. Seiki Kusuo put his hands together and began to eat slowly, savoring each bite. Since it was just something casual, and the ingredients were nothing special, it was probably at the level of a 4-star chef. Those star ratings are usually only for restaurants. After all, his cooking skills had reached max level just from casually making meals. Even at the Seiki household or when eating at Grandpa's, the top chef's dishes were not as good as his, though he himself thought they were about the same. But usually at home, he did not cook himself because he was lazy. He only cooked when he was in a good mood. He had even won first place in a cooking contest before, one held at home. If he went all out at 100% strength, he could make dishes that glowed like in anime. It looked a bit weird, though in the past he had only seen that effect in Food Wars. Shokugeki no Soma. When I first started making glowing food, it shocked people quite a bit. In the end, I used my powers to make everyone think it was completely normal, which made things better. He had checked around online and found no Tatsuki Academy or Nakiri Arena, so he figured he was not in that clothes exploding from delicious food world. He was not sure which anime world this was. A long time ago, Seiki was only a half-otaku anime viewer. He had not watched many shows. He mostly liked scrolling through videos, watching cosplays or cute girl edits, and joining in calling them waifu. He basically only looked at the characters and not the plot. Thinking about it now, the girl he just ran into earlier looked a little familiar, like he had seen her somewhere before. He tried to recall for a while, then lay back on the sofa and closed his eyes. Whatever, I can't remember, so I won't think about it. Tomorrow school starts, and a new life begins. In the morning, after finishing breakfast, Seiki Kusuo quickly changed into his school uniform and stood in front of the mirror to fix his appearance. Perfect, this should do. Looking at his still fairly normal self in the mirror, he let out a sigh. Was Seiki Kusuo ugly? Definitely not. Was he good-looking? Definitely yes, though his unusual outfit probably lowered his attractiveness a bit. But this red and green combination could only look this ordinary when worn by him. Pink hair paired with green glasses, plus 2 antenna-like things stuck on his head. Anyone walking down the street like this would definitely be seen as weird. But it was fine. This was a normal outfit. Very reasonable. What? You think it's unreasonable? No problem. Seiki Kusuo could make you think it was reasonable using his powers. After locking the doors and windows, Seiki left. Outside, he saw the girl from yesterday. It's that girl from yesterday. She's wearing the same school uniform as me. Same school, that's way too much of a coincidence. He remembered there were many schools in the area. He never expected the girl he bumped into yesterday to be from the same one. Then Seiki Kusuo headed out to school without thinking much more about it. After all, the school was quite large with lots of students. It was impossible they would be in the same class. No, a girl with pink hair that barely reached her shoulders, tied into a cute bun, shouted. She was holding her dog's leash as they stepped onto the road. A car was coming from the opposite direction. Nearby, a boy wearing the Sobu High uniform was about to rush out for a heroic dog rescue. Yar, even with a kind heart, you can't throw away your own safety like that. Suddenly, the boy froze in place, unable to move. Then the dog leapt into a backflip, spinning 2 full circles in the air, dodging the car. Under everyone's shocked gazes, it landed safely and returned to the girl's side. While everyone was still stunned, Seiki lowered his hand, quietly stepped back behind the crowd. Or rather, he positioned himself to shield the crowd from behind and then vanished. Cats are so cute, I'm totally obsessed. You love cats too, right? They feel so nice to pet. On the road, he saw several female high school students playing with a cat. They were gently stroking its fur in a very heartwarming scene, but in reality, stop touching me, you human female creatures. That's right, that was the cat's inner voice. Seiki Kusuo looked over at a dog being walked nearby. The dog looked happy, wagging its tail energetically, but kill everyone around, won't spare any, release me from this restraint. Okay, fine. Even though dogs looked smart and cats seemed affectionate, in Seiki Kusuo's eyes, this was how they really were. Because of telepathy, he could hear animals' inner voices, so he could not like cats and dogs the way normal people did. Not to mention with clairvoyance on, if he wanted to see their normal appearance, he had to keep blinking constantly. Otherwise, he would only see skeletons. His impression of cats and dogs was too vague. He could not even answer what his favorite animal was. Meow meow meow. While walking, he suddenly heard a cat cry from above his head. Seiki Kusuo looked up. Chapter 3. The Cool Girl. The weather was sunny and pleasant, with a gentle breeze, when a discordant series of meows suddenly rang out. Seiki Kusuo looked up. Ah, it's a cat. An orange cat wearing a red scarf was clinging to the highest branch of the tree. The fur on its head even formed a shape, very distinctive. Why does it look so much like Amp? Readers, what do you think? Man and cat stared at each other in silence for a long while. The cat still had not recovered from the eye contact. While the cat was still puzzled, wondering why this human was not rescuing such an adorable little kitten, Seiki slowly walked away. The cat immediately panicked. Wait, meow. That human, meow, stop right there. Yar, what are you doing, Matsuoka? Just as he was about to turn the corner, Seiki reversed direction and slowly backed up. Watching Seiki Kusuo gradually return, the cat's mind raced with thoughts. Amp, what kind of person is this guy? He sees such a cute animal in trouble and just ignores it. Any normal person would feel heartbroken seeing how adorable I am and do everything possible to save me. Fine, since you're back, hurry up and get me down. If you behave well, I might even let you get close and affectionate with me, meow. Seiki Kusuo glanced over, then silently sidestepped away again. Wait, why are you walking away? Seiki Kusuo. Yar, what a hassle. He slowly walked back. The cat was still confused. What is wrong with this guy? Could he be a dog person? I'm not on either side, but right now I'm leaning heavily toward dogs. If you want me to save you, can you at least say, please? So, do you want me to save you or not? Amp, what's going on? Meow, this guy isn't even speaking, but I can hear a voice in my head. Yeah, that's right, I transmitted the voice directly into your mind. Now, say it, do you want me to save you? I don't speak cat language. Instantly, the cat struck an extremely cute, pleading pose. Fine, hurry up and get me down already. Behave well, and letting you get affectionate isn't out of the question, meow. By then, Seiki Kusuo had already slowly sidestepped toward the corner and half disappeared. Wait, don't go. If you save me, you can touch my fluffy balls however you want. 3 minutes of fluff touching, how about that? Sure enough, Amp panicked as Seiki was about to fully vanish. The cat finally lost control. Wait, I was wrong. Come back. Seiki walked back again. This is your last chance. If you don't say, please, I'm not coming back. Finally, the cat put on an extremely gentle expression and said, TCH, yar, please save me. Degree. Seiki Kusuo. Yar, this is exactly why people think cats are cute. Then, his eyes fixed on the cat at the top of the tree. A flash of light passed through Seiki's eyes. The cat was suddenly lifted as if controlled, grabbed by psychokinesis, and gently placed down on the wall. Amp, this guy actually has such amazing powers. Is he a god? No matter what he is, everyone will eventually submit to us cats. While the cat was still pondering how to make this man submit, Seiki Kusuo stepped forward and reached out his hand, looking as if he were about to pet Amp's head. Instantly, Amp thought, as expected, he's already fallen under my charm. Fine, I'll let you pet me a couple times. But just as Seiki was about to touch him, he smoothly pulled his hand back at the last second, ran it through his own hair instead, then turned his head with a light smirk, looking down at Amp in a way that perfectly mocked him. Amp, what? You jerk, meow, you're deliberately messing with me, aren't you, meow? Damn it, I will make you submit. You'll pay for this. Then Seiki Kusuo approached again, reaching out once more as if to pet the cat. This time, Amp would not fall for it. He instantly jumped away, but in midair, he froze. Seiki caught him with psychokinesis and started petting him. Since you like being petted so much, I'll satisfy you. In the end, he rubbed the cat's fur counterclockwise, kneading and messing it up at will. No, meow. Stop, meow, Yamate. I can't, ah. Well, the texture really isn't bad. After casually petting him for about 10 minutes, he tossed Amp onto the ground like a rag and walked away. It looked exactly like a scumbag who toys with a girl's pure feelings, then decisively pulls up his pants and runs off. Yar, better wipe my hands clean. They're covered in cat fur. After turning a few corners, Seiki Kusuo took out a handkerchief from his bag to wipe his hands, but a gust of wind blew it up into a tree. Yar, even the wind has to mess with me. Just as Seiki Kusuo was about to retrieve the handkerchief, footsteps sounded from behind. A pink figure flashed past, leapt lightly upward with graceful movements like a martial artist who had trained for 10 years. Using a pose almost impossible for a girl, she landed elegantly, perfectly, and coolly. Seiki Kusuo slowly turned to look at the person in front of him. A long-haired girl with shoulder-length pink hair just like his own, and striking blue eyes, was looking at him. She slowly walked up to Seiki Kusuo, unfolded a smile, and said gently, "This is your handkerchief, right? Here, take it." The smile on the girl's face showed no sign of concern at all. But what was really in her heart? "Shikimori, woo, I just started high school and already got exposed. I originally wanted to be a gentle, cute girl, my plan to change schools is ruined, woo I omega I. Yar, this girl is pretty strange. Thanks, it was really cool, but if you don't want to do it, you don't have to force yourself. It's fine." No, that's not it. I don't have that kind of thought, it's just. Shikimori explained nervously. Listening to Shikimori's explanation, Seiki Kusuo silently raised his right hand and pointed at his watch. "Class is about to start soon. Isn't it bad to keep standing here?" Shikimori glanced at the time. "Oh no, I'm going to be late. See you later, classmate." Then she quickly ran off, leaving behind a pink figure. Seiki Kusuo watched the girl rush away in panic, even though there were still more than 10 minutes until class started, until her figure disappeared. Then he silently walked to a corner, placed 2 fingers on his forehead. Teleport. He arrived in the school bathroom. As for the classroom, he had already checked with clairvoyance. Class 1B, so this is the place. Seiki Kusuo walked in and saw the girl from the apartment he had met yesterday, the neighbor. The world really is small. Chapter 4, The world is really small. The world really is small. Looking at this beautiful girl neighbor from his own home, who turned out to be his classmate, he couldn't help but sigh. Yeah, surely the beautiful girl he ran into this morning won't end up in the same class as him too, right? That's just a joke, how could that possibly happen? Seiki Kusuo walked toward the back rows, saw that window seat, decided it might be too conspicuous, so he took one more step forward and sat down 1 seat away from the window. While Seiki Kusuo was admiring the scenery outside the window, a girl with messy pink hair tied in a bun rushed into the classroom in a hurry, her face flushed red as if she had been running the whole way. Seiki Kusuo glanced over once, then immediately turned his head away, looking out the window. Yar, I knew it. Shikimori, how could this be? My image is going to be ruined right on the first day of school with me being late. The image I have to maintain psi, filled circle degree ka degree filled circle psi. No, Shikimori has to stay calm. It's fine, as long as I don't run into that boy from this morning again, then none of this ever happened. I got seen showing my violent side right as I arrived at school. As long as I don't encounter him again, it'll be okay. Otherwise, I'd want to die. She wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes, comforted herself with a few more words, then, without thinking, picked the empty seat right next to Seiki Kusuo and sat down. Hi, classmate, my name is Shikimori Miyako. Seiki Kusuo. After Seiki replied, he slowly turned his head to look at her, gave a slight nod, then turned back, propped his cheek on his hand, and continued staring out the window in the same pose. It's you. The smile on Shikimori's face instantly froze, turning into 3 parts surprise, 3 parts embarrassment, and 4 parts disbelief. Shikimori, how could this be? Why would God do this to me? How is this possible? My image has already. He nodded at me, what does that mean? Did he figure out it was me? Then he doesn't want to make me feel awkward, right? But doing it this way makes me even more awkward. But why? Why did I have to run into him, and in the same class too? This makes me want to die even more. Shikimori, no, it doesn't have to be like this. He might not have recognized me. Right, he might not have recognized me. It should probably, maybe, likely not be recognizable, right? Then Shikimori turned her head to sneak a glance at Seiki. Noticing her gaze, Seiki turned back and met her eyes. The former quickly looked away, covering her face with both hands. He recognized me. He definitely recognized me. No, God, can you please make him forget? Hurry up and say you've already forgotten. Seiki Kusuo watched this version of Shikimori, then turned his head and said expressionlessly. Don't worry, Shikimori-san, the one I ran into this morning wasn't you. I don't know anything. Shikimori was slightly stunned, not yet understanding what he meant. Shikimori, what does this mean? Does he not think I'm barbaric? He's telling me to forget what happened this morning. Could he have already seen through my heart and know I don't want others to find out? Maybe this guy's actually pretty nice. After a while, a beautiful black-haired woman wearing a white lab coat-style teacher's outfit walked up to the podium, her figure exceptionally good. Hiratsuka Shizuka, another failed matchmaking. These men really have no taste, they're hopeless. I can't bring my personal life emotions into work. How can I let the students see me like this? Hiratsuka Shizuka coughed twice, looked down over the students below, and tried to make her tone as gentle as possible. I'm your Japanese language teacher, and also your homeroom teacher. For the next while, I'll be guiding you into campus life, and also. The students below had already started chattering away. Sato, look, our class has so many beautiful girls. Yeah, and our homeroom teacher looks really gentle too. She's a total beauty. My wonderful school life is finally starting. But our teacher is so pretty, she probably has a boyfriend, right? Really, I actually think she looks like she doesn't have a boyfriend. You think you know everything. If you keep talking like that, I could even say Hiratsuka-sensei failed at matchmaking, ha ha ha. Bam, Hiratsuka Shizuka slammed her fist on the desk. The gentleness from before vanished instantly, her face turning cold. Which student was that just now? Don't you know you can't just say things carelessly? You have to pay the price for your actions. The other students instantly fell silent, looking left and right, trying to find the source of that voice. The class went completely quiet. The student who had spoken earlier was already sweating buckets. Seeing others turn back, he turned back too, completely blending in, as if he wanted to find that person more than anyone. Seiki Kusuo, so gentle, this teacher. Forget it, I'll forgive you this time. Don't talk carelessly like that again. For the next while, I hope we can get along well. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask me. Hiratsuka Shizuka switched back to her gentle demeanor from earlier, smiling as she spoke, but no one was fooled by her appearance anymore. Today is the first day of school. Let's get to know each other first, starting with that student over there. That flaxen-haired beautiful girl stood up and said, "Hello everyone, I'm Shina Mahiru. Please take care of me from now on. Hello everyone, my name is Sato Ryoshi. I'm Seiki Kusuo, pleased to meet you." Seiki Kusuo, that name sounds kinda familiar. Isn't he the top student in our grade? Really, he looks so ordinary. Ordinary, wow, I didn't expect a guy who looks so gloomy to be that amazing. He's actually the top in the grade. That's unbelievable. Shikimori, sitting next to him, was surprised. I'm sorry for being the gloomy guy who took first place. After finishing his self-introduction, Seiki Kusuo sat back down. Yes, he was the top student in the grade. Originally, he had wanted to control his score like before, since he'd always done score control in the past. But ever since his grandfather put him through that demonic training, he had shown his personal academic talent. Although his grandfather allowed him to go train elsewhere, he didn't allow his grades to drop, and even hoped he would improve further. Otherwise, if they dropped, he'd have to go back and continue the training. But full marks leave no room for improvement, and dropping would be the same issue. So he could only maintain this score. The self-introductions continued right after. My name is Shiraishi Junta. Hello everyone, I'm Izumi Yu. Hikigaya Hachiman. Kitagawa Marin. Hayama Hayato. From the different self-introductions, people could figure out who would be suitable as friends, and see who seemed easy to get along with. For example, Shina Mahiru, this girl with peerless beauty and a great personality, was naturally very popular, with lots of people going up to talk to her. The classmate next to him, whose looks didn't lose to Shina Mahiru's, Shikimori-san, was of course the same. Seiki Kusuo stood up and walked forward. He had already judged who in this class might be suitable as a friend for him. The guy in front of him, Shiraishi Junta, looked very ordinary, easy to get along with, didn't seem like the type to cause trouble casually. His presence was a bit low, but that was fine. Just then, Shiraishi Junta stood up and walked outside, passing right by Seiki Kusuo. Seiki raised his hand and asked, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Seiki Kus." Before he could finish, Shiraishi Junta walked straight past as if he couldn't see Seiki Kusuo at all, heading in the direction of the bathroom. He actually ignored me. It's been years since I've been this pissed off. Deminda. Just as Seiki Kusuo was about to chase after him, a male classmate came up from behind and patted him on the shoulder. Seiki Kusuo slowly turned around. Chapter 5. Running for Class Officer. That male classmate smiled and said, "Saiki-kun, right. Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Akazawa Itsuki. Just call me Itsuki." Seiki Kusuo nodded. "Hi, same here, just call me Seiki." For someone with a decent personality who takes the initiative to talk to him, Seiki wouldn't refuse either. The other guy clearly seemed like the type who's good at chatting, though Seiki had no intention of escalating it to best friend level. "So, Seiki, which middle school did you go to before?" Itsuki was very familiar right away, slinging an arm around Seiki's shoulders. If they got any closer, he might start calling him bro any second now. "Middle school, just some unremarkable, normal middle school." "Really? And yet your grades are still that good. I heard you're the top in the grade. What score did you get to take first place?" Seiki Kusuo pretended to think for 2 seconds before saying, "Oh, that, I think it was full marks." Itsuki's expression changed dramatically, full of disbelief. "For real? Don't mess with me. Full marks in every subject?" "Yeah, is there a problem?" Itsuki finally couldn't hold back and complained, "A problem? Of course there's no problem. It's just that honor students like you are way too enviable and jealousy-inducing." "Calm down, don't get so worked up. After all, my grandpa is really strict with me. If I don't do well, it'll be a hassle." "Oh, is that so? Seiki, are you from that top 100 global company, the Seiki family?" "That's amazing. Seems like a lot of stores in Japan are connected to the Seiki name." "Well, yeah, my grandpa is pretty strict with me. He demands I do well in everything, no matter what. After all, coming in with full marks in every subject was already eye-catching enough. If he did anything else noticeable later, using the excuse that his family is strict would still be pretty reasonable." As they chatted, more and more classmates joined in, mostly gathering around Itsuki to talk. Seiki Kusuo had to admit the guy's charisma was pretty impressive. Time passed quickly, and the bell for class rang again. Hiratsuka-sensei walked back up. "All right, class is starting. Since it's the first day of school, we won't dive into lessons yet. Let's adjust the seating first. We'll do it by lottery." "Great, we get to change seats." Hearing they could switch seats, Shikimori got excited. "Congratulations." Then Seiki Kusuo stood up and walked toward the podium, ready to draw for a seat. No, that's not what I meant. I don't dislike Saiki-kun at all. What I meant was..." Watching Seiki's back as he gradually walked to the podium, and recalling the look he gave her earlier. Shikimori, he must think I really dislike him. How could that be? That's not what I meant at all. Shikimori, what's wrong with you? How could you treat someone like that? He even told you not to worry about what happened this morning, but you acted like this toward him. Saiki-kun might seem a bit gloomy, but he definitely wants to change himself too. So gentle, yet I said something like that to him. He must be someone who's bad at expressing himself, just like me, wanting to change. We're the same kind of person. I became cuter, and he wants to become more sociable too. Just looking at him, you can tell he doesn't want people calling him gloomy anymore. I'm the first person he met at this school, and I treated him like this." Shikimori's thoughts spiraled into a brainstorm. Recalling that scene earlier, waves of images flooded her mind, picturing Seiki all alone. Shikimori coming to a new environment for the first time, a strange place, just wanting to change how others see him. The first person he met after coming to this school was me. I started off acting so rough, but he didn't mind at all and wanted to treat me like a friend. Yet I acted like I was disgusted by him. the disappointment in Seiki's eyes when he stood up earlier, and that lonely back, pierced deep into Shikimori's heart. Shikimori, I'm the worst. Yar, you're way too good at overthinking. If I'd known, I wouldn't have said congratulations. Is it too late to take it back now? Then Seiki reached the podium and met the teacher's eyes. Seiki Kusuo, your parents asked me to take good care of you at school. Thank you. Well, Seiki had already known this in advance. His parents had mentioned it during a phone call. Hiratsuka Shizuka-sensei knew his parents quite well. As soon as they learned he was coming to this school, they immediately called her. Then Seiki drew his seat, ending up in the middle. After that, the whole class went through a big reshuffle. Now, to Seiki Kusuo's left was Kubo Nagisa, a cute girl with purple hair, wearing black stockings, and a bit of baby fat on her cheeks. To his right was Izumi Yu, and in front was Shiraishi Junta. As for Shikimori, she got her wish and changed desk mates to Kitagawa Marin, now sitting by the window. Behind them sat Hikigaya Hachiman, who already looked like he'd seen through the ways of the world. Alright, next we'll start electing the class president and other positions. Does anyone want to nominate themselves? Hiratsuka Shizuka said, looking at Seiki Kusuo, who had already taken his new seat. Seiki Kusuo, why are you looking at me? Didn't my parents explain my situation to you? In the end, the class president position went to Shina Mahiru. Alright, now for study committee member. Does anyone have a recommendation? If not, Sensei thinks Saiki-kun would be fine. No way, I don't think I can handle such a big responsibility. It's too much. Please let someone else do it, Sensei. Seiki Kusuo instantly objected. No way, study committee member. Just hearing it sounded like a hassle. Seiki Kusuo had zero interest. Hiratsuka Shizuka looked at Seiki Kusuo with an, as expected, expression. As expected, this kid is just like Kurumini said, a bit solitary and lonely, not great with interpersonal stuff. Seems to like being alone, and she asked me to look after him more, help him get along with classmates. That's just me liking quiet. Hiratsuka Shizuka, he'll probably always use the excuse of liking quiet to cover it up. I don't cover anything up. Besides, at the Seiki house, with Grandpa, I attend those so-called important people's tea parties and chats. Hiratsuka Shizuka, didn't he mention it before, even on the phone? Seiki Kusuo was dragged by his grandpa to learn how to socialize, but he's always hated it and doesn't build good relationships with others. That's because I can hear their thoughts. Joining those things only makes me more disappointed in them. I'll just use the frail and sickly, poor physical condition excuse to refuse. Hiratsuka Shizuka, I heard Seiki used to avoid his grandpa's tasks by claiming to be frail and sickly all the time. After his grandpa set up a huge training regimen for him, he never used that excuse again. He wouldn't try it now, right? Damn it, all roads are blocked. There has to be another way. Hiratsuka Shizuka, if he really can't find another excuse to refuse, I'll have no choice but to use the trump card Kunoharu gave me and report it to his grandpa. Equals degree D degree equals, you can definitely hear my thoughts, right? Right, and damn it, Dad must still be holding a grudge from last time when I accidentally smashed his puzzle toy collection and made him reassemble it all. Hiratsuka Shizuka, don't worry, Kurumini. I'll take good care of Seiki Kusuo. Thanks, Sensei, but please don't take care of me like that. But there's no helping it. Saiki-kun, you're the most suitable one here. No one else wants to do it, and your scores are the highest in the grade, first place. Although Shina-san is also first, she's class president now, so no one is more suitable than you. We can switch later if someone better comes along. So it's decided. Then, who agrees? Who opposes? Chapter 6. The unlucky Izumi Yu. Who agrees? Who opposes? Hiratsuka Shizuka said with a smile. Seiki for study committee. Yeah, no question about it. His grades really are number one. Exactly, and no one else wants to be study committee member anyway, so this is probably for the best. Right, I believe Saiki-kun can definitely handle it. If it's about studies, I'm picking Seiki. He's the one everyone expects. Seiki, Seiki. The whole class was buzzing with supportive voices. It was as if they were happier about Seiki getting picked than if they had been chosen themselves. Yar, sure enough, the only time classmates unite like this is for something like that. Using grades is the reason, huh? Well, there's no helping it then. There are a few top students in the grade. 2 are in our class, and there's one more. What was her name? Yukinoshita Yukino or something. Too bad she's not in our class. Otherwise, I might have been able to struggle a bit more. By the way, this school has a lot of first-place students, huh? No helping it then. Since that's the case, I'll take it on temporarily for now. I hope someone more suitable comes along later. Of course, Hiratsuka Shizuka said with a smile. At that moment, Shikimori dazedly watched the popular Seiki. That's great, Saiki-kun became the study committee member. You've taken another step forward toward your goal. Your heart must be really happy right now. Ah, yeah, super happy left pointing arrow. Hey, Shikimori. Hey, what are you spacing out about? You've been staring off into space since earlier. Sitting next to her, Kitagawa Marin waved her hand in front of Shikimori's face and asked. She had waist-length golden hair with coral-colored tips, slender fingers adorned with square-shaped long nails, and a black choker around her neck, fully embodying a spicy, alluring beauty vibe that was incredibly captivating. Then, following Shikimori's line of sight, she looked over at Seiki Kusuo and laughed teasingly. Oh, I get it. So our big beauty is starting to have her first crush. You're that interested in Saiki-kun, huh? Well, you were sitting next to him before, and he's super smart. If you look closely, he's pretty handsome too. I approve. Go for it epsilon greater than less than z. N. No, it's not like that. You don't have to say weird things. Saiki-kun and I only just met recently. He just sees me as a friend. Shikimori's face turned bright red as she shook her head in explanation. For this boy who could so easily see through her inner thoughts, Shikimori felt like she definitely didn't have that kind of strange feeling toward him. Alright, for the next few days, go around the school and see if there are any clubs you want to join to develop yourselves. If you find one that fits, just sign up. If you're unsure, come talk to me. After Hiratsuka Shizuka finished speaking, she turned and left, somehow feeling like things might get really tough from here on out. When school let out, Seiki Kusuo was getting ready to head home. The daily schedule for Japanese high schools differs from that in some other places. Overall, Japanese high schools generally start around 7:30 in the morning and end around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Different schools have slightly different specific schedules, but it's usually something like this: 1. Monday to Friday mornings, 8:30 to 12:30. 2. Monday to Friday afternoons, 13:30 to 16:30. During exam weeks or special activity days, study time might be extended. Additionally, many schools have optional self-study sessions in the evening, usually between 1900 and 2000. Saturdays and Sundays are rest days. All in all, there's quite a bit of free time. Seiki Kusuo stood up and was about to leave the classroom when someone called out to him. Saiki-kun, please wait. A boy with purple hair on top of his head, eyes sparkling with highlights that made them especially bright, his face slightly flushed and looking extremely kawaii, spoke nervously. Is something the matter? Seiki Kusuo turned around and looked at the boy in front of him expressionlessly. Then Izumi Yu took a step forward, bowed at a perfect 90 degrees, and raised his right hand. My name is Izumi Yu. Please become my friend. Yar, it's just making friends. The way you're doing it makes it look like a confession. Ah, so nervous. First time talking to someone on the first day of high school. Please don't reject me when I'm trying to make a friend. Izumi Yu was extremely tense inside. Well, whatever, but I'm heading home now. Then Seiki Kusuo turned and started walking. Izumi Yu froze for a second, then chased after him. Then, can I walk home with you? That phrasing is really easy for readers to misunderstand. Whatever. In the end, Seiki Kusuo and Izumi Yu were walking leisurely on the way home. Seiki Kusuo glanced behind him and noticed a sneaky figure tailing them like a ghost. Shikimori, I was planning to explain what happened this morning to Saiki-kun after school, then invite him to grab something to eat outside and walk home together. Of course, this is to apologize for the morning and from the perspective of a friend. Yeah, that's right. I didn't expect someone to beat me to inviting him. Did I come too late? Hiding behind a utility pole with half her head peeking out, Shikimori bit her lip and stared intently at Izumi Yu in front of her. The latter suddenly felt a chill down his back, turned to look, but saw nothing. What's wrong? Nothing, just, I feel like something scary is staring at me. My back feels cold. Seiki Kusuo smiled. Then you'd better be careful. Once something scary has you in its sights, it's hard to shake off. Hiding behind him, Shikimori pouted and muttered softly, "I'm not scary at all. I'm obviously pretty gentle, you know." Izumi-yu didn't pay attention to what Seiki said and spoke in a concise, rapid tone. "Saiki-kun, the truth is I'm really unlucky. Before this, hardly anyone wanted to be my friend. Probably because they were afraid they'd catch my bad luck if they hung around me. Even so, will you still be my friend? How could something like that be true? Even if it were, I wouldn't mind. But it's real. I'm seriously unlucky. Just take today from the morning onward." Izumi-yu walked beside Seiki Kusuo, explaining as he recalled what had happened today. Right after stepping out the door, he tripped over a rock and fell. On the way to school, he got a face full of car exhaust. Then a crow pooped on him from above. Even though he dodged it, he stepped on another rock, tripped over a rope, and fell again. Passing through the streets, a neighbor upstairs just happened to dump water out the window right as he walked by, and afterward he stepped in dog poop. "Yar yar, are you an unlucky esper or did you get targeted by some dean?" Although the plot felt a bit familiar, it reminded him of a certain someone in clothes. Still, he wouldn't take it to heart. After all, it was just a bit of bad luck. It wouldn't affect his superpowers in the slightest. As they were talking, a car came speeding toward Izumi's direction from the roadside. Just as it was about to reach Izumi-yu, who was chatting with Seiki Kusuo, Seiki Kusuo casually reached out, yanked Izumi over, and pinned him against the wall. "Watch out." Yeah, the wind from the car that passed right by blew up, constantly tousling Seiki Kusuo's hair. The afternoon sun shone from behind him. From Izumi-yu's perspective, Seiki Kusuo looked just like a divine being. So cool. Chapter 7. Coffee Jelly. "Thank you, Saiki-kun. Sorry about that." Izumi-yu scratched his head and smiled. "No problem. ... The two of them continued walking home again when a newspaper flew over, heading straight for the top of Izumi-yu's head. Seiki casually blocked it with one hand. "That's amazing. How did you catch the newspaper without even looking?" "Yar yar, this is just too unlucky." From earlier, a whole bunch of weird things had been flying toward Izumi-yu: aluminum cans, newspapers, a baseball, and even a fish. By the way, why would a fish be flying through the air? "Sorry, Saiki-kun. It feels like you've been dragged into all my bad luck along the way. For me, this is already normal, but it doesn't seem fair to you." "Normal? Huh, well, don't worry about it too much. Everyone has unlucky moments. Maybe after a good night's sleep, or in a few days, you'll turn into a lucky person. This kid really is ridiculously unlucky, but this should be about his limit, right? This level of misfortune." Just then, above their heads, a signboard suddenly came loose and fell straight towards Seiki Kusuo and Izumi-yu. "Yar yar, no matter what, this is going too far." Even if the signboard hit him, Seiki wouldn't get hurt, but Izumi-yu was right next to him. So Seiki planned to use telekinesis to control it, making it slide sideways in midair. After all, there was wind, so it would seem reasonable enough. "Danger!" A voice came from behind. Shikimori, who had been hiding, finally couldn't stand it anymore. She burst forward with all her strength, leapt up, and delivered a flying side kick that sent the signboard flying away. "Ha, ha," Shikimori panted heavily, then pressed both hands against the wall, pinning Seiki there as she asked worriedly. "Are you okay, Seiki?" "I'm fine. That's so cool. Did you see that? That girl kicked the signboard away with one flying kick. Wow, this girl's boyfriend power is off the charts. She's got the guy pinned against the wall in a wall slam. Sigh, first time I've seen a girl do a wall slam on a guy." The passers-by who witnessed it all exclaimed in admiration. Realizing how bold and intimate her current action was, Shikimori shyly lowered her hands, looked down while fidgeting with her fingers, and said bashfully, "Saiki-kun, about that move just now, please don't mind it. It's just, you know, when people are in danger, human potential gets unlocked. I know, you're not the one in danger, so how are you unlocking human potential?" Thank you, Shikimori-san." Only then did Shikimori finally notice Izumi-yu thanking her from the side. Along the way, she had observed this boy. Yeah, he really was quite unlucky. Izumi-yu looked at the cool girl in front of him and couldn't help but marvel. Sure enough, awesome people hang out with other awesome people. He already thought Saiki-kun was super cool and heroic, but turns out there's someone even more impressive. Whose subordinate is this? "Saiki-kun, sorry, I almost got you caught up in it again. Izumi then turned to Seiki and said. It's fine. Really, making it through these 16 years must have been no easy feat. Seeing that Seiki didn't seem to mind, Izumi felt relieved and turned to ask. By the way, why is Shikimori-san here? Ah, well, I'm just heading home too. Yeah, I happened to run into you guys on the way. Shikimori explained nervously. Can't exactly say I was tailing you the whole time, or Seiki would think I'm some weirdo. You're already a pretty weird person in my book. Huh, really? But, yes, that's right. Izumi wanted to ask more, but Shikimori stepped closer, cutting him off with her answer. Izumi. Got it. After that, the three of them walked together until Izumi reached home. Once only Seiki and Shikimori were left walking side by side. Shikimori finally couldn't hold back and asked, Saiki-kun, I'm really sorry about this morning. When we were changing seats, I didn't mean to act like I disliked you. I was just a little nervous. Since the very first day of school, you saw my rough side, and I was scared you'd think I was some barbaric person too. Because when I was little, I used to train in karate and even made boys cry before. So I wanted to change myself, to become a gentle person. I didn't want others to know what I used to be like. Yar, it's fine. Don't worry about it, everyone has secrets in their heart. It's normal not to want them discovered. I won't tell anyone. Thank you, Saiki-kun. Hearing that Seiki Kusuo didn't mind at all, Shikimori instantly let out a sigh of relief. Saiki-kun is really so kind. I'm going to stop by the convenience store. You don't have to wait for me. Oh, I'll come with you. In the end, Seiki walked into the convenience store and headed to the instant noodle section, buying a big pile of cup noodles. Although he could cook pretty tasty meals himself, instant noodles were still super convenient. Plus, he used to really like them, and with his body type that never gains weight, now that he was living alone, of course he could indulge a little. Then he headed to the coffee jelly section, just to look, since he'd already bought some yesterday. There was still a big crowd of kids and women checking out the snacks there. Passerby, it's really that expensive. How can coffee jelly cost that much? Does anyone actually buy it? Passerby, too expensive. Let's go, this value is terrible. Seiki Kusuo listened to the voices as he walked forward and saw a coffee jelly priced at 3,000 yen each. Shikimori came over too. No way, one coffee jelly costs that much. Shikimori picked up the 3,000 yen coffee jelly in front of her and looked at it. 3,000 yen. Yar, 3,000 yen, and it's not even a big portion. Just fancy packaging. Who would buy a single jelly like this? 5 minutes later, Seiki and Shikimori walked out of the convenience store. Then Seiki looked into the bag in his hand and saw the coffee jelly inside. I bought it. Why did I buy something with such bad value? With this money, I could have gotten dozens of coffee jellies. But whatever, since I already bought it, let me taste just how delicious this 3,000 yen coffee jelly really is. Of course, if it doesn't satisfy me, I'll blow up the manufacturer. Then he looked at the coffee jelly with a blissful expression. Shikimori, watching Seiki like this from the side, felt her face turn slightly red in an unnatural way. So Seiki can make that kind of face too. It's pretty cute. After that, the two parted ways, and Seiki returned to his apartment. As he stepped out of the elevator, he happened to run into Shina Mahiru, who was just coming back as well. Chapter 8. Former Fiancé. Shina Mahiru looked over at Seiki Kusuo, who was carrying instant noodles and coffee jelly. Saiki-kun, hello. Sorry about yesterday. I never expected we'd be so fated. My neighbor turns out to be my classmate. Seiki Kusuo nodded, then walked back home, opened the door, and went inside. Ring. Seiki Kusuo picked up his phone, glanced at it, and answered the call. Moshi. Kusuo, how are you? Today's your first day starting school outside. Did anyone bully you? Did you make any friends? A woman's concerned voice came from the other end of the line. This was Seiki Kusuo's mother. I'm doing fine. No need to worry. Oh, that's good. I heard Shizuka is at that school too. A few days ago, I called her and asked her to take good care of you. Yeah, that's right. She's taking really good care of me. Great, then I'm relieved. Ha, see, I told you so. With Shizuka looking after Kusuo, you still weren't at ease. A middle-aged man's voice suddenly cut in from the other side. It was Seiki Kusuo's father, Seiki Kunaharu. Kusuo, don't worry. Shizuka is a really good person. I told her so much about you. I know she'll take great care of you. Yeah, that's right, I'll remember that well, Dad. Actually, I don't really need taking care of. Having a teacher look after my school life might actually make it harder to live normally. Originally, when you transferred to a school where you didn't know anyone, we only asked because we heard Shizuka was there. Otherwise, we'd have had to get your brother to look after you again. Yar, being looked after by sensei is the best. I actually prefer having Hiratsuka-sensei take care of me. It lets me enjoy school life even more. Quote. By the way, at that high school you're at now, your former fiancé seems to be attending there too. Fiancé? Well, yeah, there was someone like that. What was her name again? I've forgotten. Back then, Grandpa was worried I'd be lonely, so he secretly arranged a fiancé as a surprise. Later, I, accidentally, found out and rejected it, and the engagement was called off. Seiki just found it ridiculous. What kind of grandfather arranges more than one fiancé for his own grandson? Good thing Seiki put a stop to Grandpa's plans. Well, even if she's at the same school, so what? The school's huge, it's not like it'll be someone I know, and even if I run into her, nothing will come of it. After all, you two used to be, but you probably won't run into each other anyway. The school's so big. Originally, if you hadn't broken off the engagement, I was thinking if you met, you could look after her a bit. Her name seems to be Shina Mahiru or something. Opening parenthesis. Closing parenthesis. After chatting a bit more, the call ended. Seiki finally walked to the kitchen and started preparing 2 packs of instant noodles. 3 minutes later, Seiki Kusuo held his instant noodles, enjoying the meal while watching TV. A former fiancé living right next door. Even novels wouldn't dare write a plot twist like this. What is this? My beautiful neighbor is not only my classmate but also my fiancé. While Seiki was still thinking, a voice suddenly rang out. Why does seeing you always irritate me? Why do you look so much like that person? You shouldn't have been born. The voice came from next door, that is, Shina Mahiru's home. Sounds like family business. Better not get involved. It's best to stay out of it. 5 minutes later, Seiki was walking down the hallway with his coffee jelly, eating it slowly and unhurriedly. Jerk. With a loud shout from the door, a woman with long brown hair stormed out, slamming the door behind her. As she headed toward the elevator, she glanced at Seiki. This woman had the air of a strong career woman, both in appearance and demeanor. Next door instantly fell silent. Yar, all done. Time to head home. Seiki sat on the sofa, thinking about what had just happened. The inner voice from next door started up. Why? What did I do wrong? No matter what I do, it's never enough. No matter how hard I try, will I never get any approval? Seiki Kusuo listened to the girl's non-stop inner monologue and gradually pieced together her past. Shina Mahiru's parents hadn't married for love. They were only together for practical reasons, and neither had wanted children. Yet in that situation, Shina Mahiru was born. She wasn't the fruit of love. In her father's and mother's eyes, she was just an accident. So, aside from providing some material things, they never gave her any paternal or maternal love. As a child, Shina Mahiru had tried to be obedient and hardworking to win her parents' attention, and as a result, she became the perfect beautiful girl in others' eyes, the untouchable flower on the high mountain. But in reality, she was just someone whose parents had ignored her since childhood, who had never felt family warmth, and who felt unwanted. Yar, family issues, huh? Looks like you've had it pretty rough too. The next morning, after Seiki Kusuo finished making his bento, he leisurely ate breakfast while watching TV, then slowly headed out. As he passed Shina Mahiru's door, he noticed it was already locked. Right, she had left early in the morning. She sure wakes up early. Then, on the way to school, he walked leisurely, enjoying the breeze blowing in his face. Hey, stinky brat, yesterday you dared treat me like that, NYA. Hurry up and give me food as compensation, NYA. Up ahead, Amp was sitting in a cat-like pose with his chest puffed out, speaking arrogantly. Seiki Kusuo quickened his pace a little. What, you stinky brat, walking so fast? Give me food already. Then Seiki casually tossed the leftover fish bones from breakfast right in front of Amp. Amp looked at them, then chomped down. To think you'd give me something like this. It's actually pretty good. Saiki-kun, good morning. Izumi-yu came running over with a leaf stuck on top of his head and his hair a bit messy. Good morning. You've got a leaf on your head. Ah, don't worry about that. The wind blew it, ha ha ha. The two of them walked along the road, chatting back and forth, though mostly it was Izumi-yu doing the talking. Just as they were about to pass through a traffic light, a pink figure jumped out. Good morning, Saiki-kun, what a coincidence. Shikimori, I left early this morning and waited here for 20 minutes, pretending it was a chance encounter. Finally got to meet him. Since Saiki-kun isn't great at socializing, I'll be his first female friend and help him change himself. Since you left so early, just go to school early. Seiki nodded. Good morning, Shikimori-san. Izumi-yu, standing beside him, said happily. He also wanted to become good friends with this cool girl. If he hung out with Seiki and her, it felt like it would really help him train his manliness. Shikimori paused for a second. Hi, Izumi-kun. Yar yar, so lively right from the morning. Chapter 9, Bento. The three of them had just walked into the classroom when the bell rang ding ding ding. They went to their seats, put down their bags, and then the teacher walked in. Alright, class is starting. First, Lesson 1. Listening to the teacher drone on and on, Seiki Kusuo couldn't really focus at all. For someone like him who gets full marks in every subject, first-year high school material was just way too easy. He was an esper, after all. Whether using clairvoyance to see answers, psychography to write them out, or just listening to heartbeats and using his money ability, he could get perfect scores anytime, anywhere. Though even without superpowers, he could still get full marks in high school courses on his own. But he still had to pretend to listen. Even if he was physically in class, his mind was always somewhere else. No helping that. At that moment, Hiratsuka-sensei, who was lecturing from the podium, also noticed Seiki Kusuo's state, but she didn't say anything. After all, she knew this kid's academics weren't something to worry about. As long as he didn't disrupt class, she let him be. Morning classes ended quickly. When lunchtime came, Seiki didn't go down to buy a bento. He just took out his bento box from his bag and prepared to eat in the classroom. Since he made it himself, no need to go anywhere. Shikimori saw this and also picked up her bento box, walking over toward Seiki. She asked cautiously, Saiki-kun, want to eat lunch together? Seiki Kusuo looked up, seeming to think about how to respond. Ah, first time inviting a boy to eat together. So nervous, what do I do? He won't reject me, right? But since I'm Saiki-kun's only female friend, he probably won't reject me, right? No way, no way. Although Shikimori was pretty confident in her appearance, she always felt that Seiki was different from normal people. He didn't seem to care much about looks, so the chance of him rejecting her was actually pretty high. Sure, yes, he didn't reject me. Shikimori let out a sigh of relief. She opened her bento box lid, revealing what looked like a rich and delicious assortment of dishes. Seiki also took out his homemade bento, opened it, and revealed an even more mouthwatering spread than Shikimori's. Saiki-kun, your food looks so abundant. This bento looks delicious. Did someone make it for you? Or did you buy it somewhere? Shikimori had originally thought that Seiki probably couldn't cook and had bought a bento, so she planned to share some of hers with him. But after seeing his dishes, she instantly felt like her own food didn't look appetizing anymore. I made it myself. No way. It looks way better than what my mom makes. It's alright. Your bento looks good too. Did you make it yourself? Shikimori paused for a moment. Shikimori thought back to yesterday when Seiki bought a huge pile of instant noodles from the supermarket. She had imagined that Seiki couldn't cook, so that's why he bought so many unhealthy things to eat. Really can't judge a book by its cover. What does that mean? Are you teasing me? Saiki-kun, have you decided which club you want to join yet? Clubs? I haven't decided yet, not planning to join for now. What about you? I've decided to join the volleyball club. Sports clubs, not really my thing. I'm not great at sports. If I don't control my strength properly, I'd casually get scouted for the national team. As for art clubs, no way. If I paint scenery, I could accidentally make a perfect 1/3 scale in one stroke, too fast. If I paint people, they'd come out looking hyperrealistic. Since when did Shikimori and Seiki get so close? Eating lunch together like that, so jealous. You're right, it really is enviable. Do you think they'll end up as a couple later? I didn't expect Seiki to be so good at cooking too. He's already top in studies, and now his cooking is this delicious. Isn't it supposed to be that when God opens a window for someone, he closes a door? Where's the door God closed for him? His looks. You're overthinking. At least he's better looking than you. Probably his personality. Seiki does look pretty gloomy, right? Wait, no, actually Seiki's a brooding handsome guy. Yar, looks like I'll have to eat bento alone from now on. He didn't expect that just eating a bento would make the classmates around them buzz with excitement again. Shikimori listened to the surrounding classmates' words, her face unconsciously turning red. I don't have that kind of feeling towards Seiki at all. After all, Seiki isn't good at socializing, and I'm his first female friend. Eating lunch together is totally normal. Plus, he's so gloomy and quiet, always lost in thought. Probably no other girls would approach him to be friends, so Shikimori looked up at Seiki. If you look closely, Seiki's actually pretty nice. That sullen, dazed face, starry melancholy eyes, he looks full of mystery. It makes you want to get lost in it. Shikimori, wait, what am I even thinking? Seriously, if you don't start eating soon, lunchtime's gonna end. Soon it was time for afternoon dismissal. On the way home after school, Seiki and Izumi walked and chatted. Hey, Saiki-kun, have you decided on a club yet? I'm planning to join the soccer club. No, soccer club, Izumi should be fine, right? Izumi caught Seiki's look. No problem, really, this is also to train myself. I'm confident, it's fine, go for it. As long as you're happy. By the way, I feel like no matter which club Saiki-kun joins, you'd fit in perfectly. You're just that amazing. Rather than joining clubs, I prefer the go-home club. Just as they were crossing the road, a truck came speeding toward them. The uncle driving it had his eyes closed, asleep. Danger! The pedestrians on the road shouted at the two boys in the middle of the street as the truck barreled toward them. Why would someone fall asleep while driving? Seiki Kusuo glanced at the sleeping truck driver. Wake up! The truck driver was instantly yanked back from his dream into reality. Seeing the people he was about to hit, he slammed on the brakes hard. Thankfully, it stopped just in time, narrowly avoiding a disaster. Sorry, really sorry. The truck driver got out and kept apologizing repeatedly. Seriously, how do you drive like that? Be more careful next time. You almost hit these two students. Yeah, watch out next time. The pedestrians on the road started pointing and commenting. Soon Seiki returned home, took some coffee jelly from the fridge, sat on the sofa, ate while reading a novel, and thought about everything that had happened these past few days. Yar, coming to a new school feels alright. If you ignore Izumi's misfortune body, he's actually a pretty good guy to be friends with. As for Shikimori-san, she's nice to me too, but she's super popular, and she's being way too nice to me. Should I keep a bit of distance? Chapter 10. Game Center. Ding ding ding, the lunch bell finally rang. The teacher on the podium pushed up his glasses. Alright, that's all for today. Class dismissed. Finally over. Let's go eat. I heard the cafeteria has new dishes today. After class, many students stood up and headed to the cafeteria. Izumi glanced at Seiki Kusuo, who was still sitting at his desk, then turned to pull a bento box out of his bag. He was about to turn back and invite Seiki to eat lunch together. Hey, Izumi-kun, have you seen Saiki-kun? Where did he go? The voice came from Shikimori and Akazawa Itsuki. Izumi picked up his bento and slowly turned, pointing toward where Seiki Kusuo had just been sitting. Saiki-kun, wasn't he sitting right He looked back, but Seiki had already vanished. What? No way, he was just here a second ago. How did he disappear so fast? Kubo Nagisa, sitting nearby, raised her hand and answered, Saiki-kun already left a while ago. Oh, Itsuki turned to look at Kubo Nagisa. Izumi and Shikimori both looked disappointed. Did I miss him by a step? I didn't expect Seiki to move so fast. Does he have something urgent? The wind blew gently, the road stretched long. Today the sun was bright, the sky clear with not a single cloud. The warm sunlight shone down, making everything feel bright and cheerful inside. Up on the rooftop of Sobu High, Seiki was sitting on a bench, eating while enjoying the northern breeze. Yar, sorry, Izumi. Today I still want to enjoy this quiet lunch by myself. Just as Seiki Kusuo finished his bento slowly, chewing carefully, packed it away, the rooftop door opened, and a head poked in. It was Akazawa Itsuki. "Hello, Seiki, I knew you'd be here. You disappeared right after class ended. I couldn't find you anywhere." "So it's Itsuki. How did you know I was here?" Seiki Kusuo looked up in confusion. He remembered slipping away very discreetly, blending into the crowd heading toward the cafeteria and vanishing. "Ahaha, Kubo-san told me." "Kubo-san, who was that again?" Seiki shook his head. "So, what do you want from me?" "Hehe, after school later, do you have any plans?" Itsuki slung an arm around Seiki's shoulders. "None. What's up?" Truthfully, he really didn't have anything. Living alone now, after school he'd probably just go home, sit around reading novels, watching TV, eating coffee jelly. That was pretty much a whole day. Perfect. Then after school, wanna hang out with me? Just the two of us? There's one more. With you, it'll be 3. So it's a deal. After school, don't rush off too fast. Bye bye. ... After school. So this is the person you said was coming. Seiki looked at the girl playfully bantering with Itsuki. The short-haired girl with brown hair looked very lively and mischievous, clearly the energetic type. Then the girl walked up to Seiki, waved, and introduced herself. "Yo, Seiki-kun, nice to meet you. I'm Shirakawa Chitose, Itsuki's girlfriend. Just call me Chitose." "Hello, I'm Seiki Kusuo." Itsuki nudged Seiki with his elbow from the side. "So, that's my girlfriend. Pretty cute, right?" Seiki gave Itsuki a sidelong glance. "So you just wanted to show off your girlfriend to me?" Seeing Seiki's look, Itsuki smiled. "But don't get any ideas about little Kai, okay? She only likes me." Seiki turned to look at Itsuki, his mouth twitching. "Do I look like that kind of person?" Itsuki put a hand on Seiki's shoulder comfortingly. "It's fine, Seiki. Finding a girlfriend is easy. With your qualities, if you wanted to, tons of girls would line up to date you. How about it? Want me to introduce you to some?" "No, thank you. I don't want a girlfriend right now." Hearing Seiki say that, Chitose unconsciously pulled Itsuki's arm back a step, looking at Seiki with a strange expression. Seiki's face stayed neutral, but inside he was completely speechless. "Hey, I'm not a pervert. I don't have weird ideas like that." Shirakawa Chitose asked curiously, Seiki-kun, have you ever been confessed to by a girl?" Confessed to by a girl? Seiki thought back to the past. Seiki turned to Itsuki to change the subject. "That's not important. Where are we going?" Chitose poked Seiki and said, "So there have been some, huh? But Seiki-kun doesn't seem interested in romance. Then what if a cute girl confessed to you? What would you do?" "I'd refuse." Chitose immediately followed up, "What if it was a really cute girl who cooks well and has amazing grades?" "What then?" "I'd refuse." Seiki-kun is really decisive. Yar, even though I'm not interested in romance, I still know you can't just casually accept someone's confession. Then Seiki turned to Itsuki. "You still haven't told me where we're going." Itsuki grinned mysteriously at Seiki. "That's a secret. You'll find out when we get there." Akazawa Itsuki, hehehe. Seiki definitely won't guess that I'm taking him to the game center. "Oh, so it's the game center. It's been a while." He remembered his favorite thing there used to be whack-a-mole. Once he hit the moles, they stayed down and never came back up. 30 minutes later, at the game center, Itsuki looked at Seiki. "So, surprised, right? You probably don't come to places like this often. Pretty shocking, huh?" "Yeah, I really didn't expect it." "Right, told you. Then this time, it's on me." Seiki didn't refuse the kindness. "Then I won't hold back." Seiki looked around left and right, checking out what games there were to play. Then, "Seiki, let's settle this once and for all." Seiki turned to Itsuki. "Settle what?" Itsuki pointed at the bowling lanes nearby. "Let's compete with this." Seiki smiled. "Sure, no problem. Young man, it looks like you don't know what real cruelty is." Itsuki picked up a bowling ball, took a couple steps, aimed carefully while bending down, and rolled. Strike. All pins down. "Yeah, how's that? Not bad, right?" Seiki said nothing, picked up a ball, rolled it forward. Also a strike, all pins down. "Oh, looks like you're pretty good too, Seiki." At this point, Itsuki still hadn't realized how serious things were about to get. Then Seiki got 2 strikes in a row, 3, 4. Itsuki's expression changed dramatically. "No way." Itsuki was completely defeated. Chitose laughed. "Haha, looks like you're no match, Itsuki." What's up with that? Hey Chitose, whose side are you on? Itsuki turned to look at his girlfriend who was mocking him. Chitose blinked, held up a peace sign with her left hand over her left eye. Of course I'm on the side of the strong one. Itsuki looked at Seiki unwillingly, then said calmly, come on, Seiki. Let's go try something else. We'll settle this once and for all. Chapter 11. Game Showdown. Come on, Seiki, I've got the title of Claw Machine Master. Let's settle this once and for all. 10 minutes later, Itsuki was completely defeated. Wait, Seiki, there's still this, dart throwing. Hey, let me tell you, back in middle school I was amazing at this. They called me the Dart Prince. Then, Itsuki stared at Seiki's darts, all stuck right in the bullseye, and fell into deep thought. Itsuki was completely defeated. Alright, I'm the billiards messenger. I won't lose at this. Itsuki was completely defeated. 3 hours later, Itsuki had lost all his shine. He knelt on the floor, muttering to himself, how is this possible? Total defeat, impossible. I'm the game center overlord. Itsuki, you okay? Chitose looked at her boyfriend, who had completely lost his spark, and for a moment didn't know what to say. She hadn't expected Seiki to be this strong. Yar, did I overdo it? Who told this guy to start by bragging about his girlfriend right off the bat? Seiki turned his head, looked at the nodal Itsuki, and headed toward the exit. Today's matches were really rewarding. See you tomorrow, Itsuki. The next second, Itsuki yanked him back. The excited Akazawa Itsuki grabbed Seiki's shoulders. His art style suddenly shifted, face flushed, grinning like an idiot. You think you can just win and run? It's not over yet, come on, let's settle this once and for all. Seriously, we've already compared pretty much everything there is to compare in here. That's enough, let's just end it here. Itsuki turned his head, scanning for something else they could compete in. His eyes lit up when he spotted Street Fighter 4. He pointed at it. This one, Street Fighter 4, I'm known as a Street Fighter expert. Seriously, how many titles do you even have? Seiki helplessly shook his head. Fine, you win. This is really the last one. After this, we go home. In the end, they ended up in front of the arcade machine. Next to it, a girl wearing an eye mask and cap had a crowd gathered around her. Seiki couldn't help but comment, is this game really that fun? Itsuki said in surprise, Seiki, don't tell me you've never played this game. Nope. Chitose walked over and shook her head. Forget played, you look like you've never even heard of it. This is the most popular fighting game in the world, Street Fighter 4. Its ranked matches have been held in game centers all over Japan. Itsuki looked at Seiki. I didn't expect you to have never even heard of it. Can we really compete like this? Isn't this kind of damaging my dignity as a man? Let's do one round, Seiki. Where did your dignity as a man go? Seiki's never even played. How is he supposed to compete with you? Chitose watched her boyfriend's excited state and didn't know what to say anymore. What's the problem? I'll just teach him. Come on, Seiki. Sure, whatever. Alright, watch closely. Itsuki sat at the controls and started instructing Seiki. Okay, pay attention. This is jump, this is forward, this is left, this is right, this is punch, this is special move, this is dodge, this is block. Then you do this and that, and like this. Okay, got it. Itsuki performed a flashy combo to demonstrate for Seiki. Seiki's mouth twitched. Got it. Great. Then let's settle this once and for all. Actually, Seiki hadn't really paid attention to Itsuki's controls at all. He had been watching the girl sitting next to them playing her matches. Right now, that girl had just won her last fight with 100 HP remaining, not a single drop lost, against the guy she was peeking. Then she turned her head and noticed Seiki observing her moves. Hey, Seiki, we're starting. Stop looking around. Itsuki saw that Seiki was ready but still distracted, so he reminded him. Seiki turned his head back. Yeah. Itsuki's character charged forward aggressively, triggering a flying kick straight at Seiki's head. Seiki sidestepped and countered with a punch, taking away several tens of % of health. Oh, not bad. Itsuki praised him when he saw Seiki could actually handle the controls. 2 minutes later, Itsuki stared at the screen showing Seiki had defeated him with 100 HP intact and fell into deep thought. Then he grabbed Seiki's shoulders. You're definitely lying to me, right? You've played this game hundreds of times, haven't you? You're a pro. Seriously, I'm not lying. I don't believe you. Whatever. Oh, this glasses-wearing guy plays pretty well. Wanna go around with me? Seiki glanced over and saw that the girl who had been sitting nearby was now watching his gameplay from extremely close range. Itsuki also noticed her. He remembered she was the expert who had just beaten her opponent with 100 HP, not losing a single drop. Alright, Seiki, one last final match with me. Let this girl take my place and fight you instead. I refuse. Didn't we already agree this was the last one? Itsuki cried as he hugged Seiki's leg. Ah, just one more, please. Seiki couldn't bear to see Akazawa Itsuki looking so pitiful anymore. Fine, but this really is the absolute last one. Great. The next second, Itsuki perked right back up, standing beside the girl with a beaming smile. It's all yours, young lady. Okay. The girl smiled back. The match began. Seiki attacked first, unleashing a big move with a powerful airplane kick. The girl jumped to dodge it, using a high-difficulty vacuum super move right off the bat. Is he really a beginner? While the girl was still in the air, Seiki started a combo. She blocked it upon landing, then counterattacked, landing her own combo on Seiki first. When her combo reached the fifth hit, Seiki spotted the opening and countered. The girl hadn't expected her combo to be read so easily. She then got hit by one of Seiki's full combos. Her health bar kept dropping steadily until she was finished off with a own hit kill. Match over. Yar yar, finally done. In this match, Seiki had barely won with 60 HP remaining. I lost. Just as the girl was about to look up and invite another round, she saw Seiki and the others already heading toward the exit. When she tried to chase after them, someone behind her spoke up. Wait, UMR. You still have the championship finals. Where are you going? The girl stopped. I still have a match to play. I don't know if I'll ever run into that person again. On the way home, Chitose handed them each a bottle of drink. Phew, today was really fun. Itsuki took a sip and looked at Seiki. You're really something else, you know that. Top of the class is one thing, but you're insanely good at all those games and sports in there too. Just got lucky. Seiki took a sip of his drink and smiled in reply. Lucky. Itsuki gritted his teeth, glaring at this guy who was still being humble in Versailles style. He's definitely getting revenge on me for bragging about my girlfriend earlier. Itsuki punched Seiki lightly in the chest. Next time, we're settling this again. Seiki Kusuo. Nah, I'll pass. Chapter 12. The interesting Shiraishi-kun. Shiraishi, I seem to be someone with an especially low presence. The reason I realized this is because I found out that even though I was clearly in the graduation photo, I was mistaken for not existing, and they pasted a photo on it. Everyone wants to fully enjoy their youth, but I can't achieve that. A teacher walked into the classroom and asked, "Is Shiraishi here?" However, no one nearby responded. Not here, then I'll just leave the handout on his desk. Just as the teacher thought no one was there, a boy suddenly appeared and patted him on the back. Teacher, I'm right here. Oh, the short teacher jumped in fright, turned around in surprise, and saw the boy he was looking for hand him the handout. With his hands crossed behind his back, the teacher asked, Shiraishi, where were you? The boy scratched his head. I was right behind you. The boy took the handout and walked toward his seat. I'm like air, it's hard for the people around me to notice me. Just as he passed by a certain classmate while proving the point, that classmate was surprised and said, Shiraishi's here. Ah, where? He's right here, you know. It seemed that finding this boy was something extremely rare. Shiraishi, even though I'm right here, it's so hard to be noticed. That's just how I am. Forget enjoying my youth, I can't even step onto the stage of youth. But, Shiraishi was searching for something on his phone when suddenly a person with pink hair, two strange hairpins stuck in it, wearing toy glasses, and looking like a weirdo appeared behind him. Shiraishi, Saiki-kun always notices my existence. It was a sunny midday break, with birds chirping noisily outside, and our Shiraishi-kun was sitting at his desk looking at his phone. Yar yar, your self-introduction plus flashback is seriously dragging on way too long, and who are you calling a weirdo? Saiki-kun, Seiki Kusuo glanced sideways at the search screen on Shiraishi's phone. Passerby. Ways for a passerby to slack off in class. Ways for a passerby to become transparent. Ways for a passerby to get noticed by others. Seiki tilted his head, pressed his index finger and thumb against his chin, and the corners of his mouth curved up slightly in what looked like an evil smirk. After noticing Seiki's smile, Shiraishi Junta felt the world turn black and white. Wait, it's not like that, Saiki-kun, it's not me, it's this phone. Don't mind it, I didn't see anything. With that, Seiki walked to the desk behind Shiraishi Junta and sat back down in his own seat. Shiraishi Junta lowered his head and thought, Class 1B's Seiki Kusuokan, excellent academic performance. In the scene, Seiki was resting on his desk, staring blankly at the Shiraishi in front of him. Superb athletic ability. In the scene, Seiki Kusuo was handing a towel to someone playing basketball. Shiraishi, someone like me should generally have nothing to do with Saiki-kun. That's how it ought to be. Seriously, even I'd feel embarrassed if someone praised me like that, and what you're saying doesn't quite match the me in those scenes. Seiki Kusuo stared at the Shiraishi-kun in front of him and thought, yar, I've been observing Shiraishi-kun for a week now. I've confirmed he's someone whose presence is so low it's almost in the realm of superpowers. Ordinary, no special abilities, but his presence is incredibly low. Coming into contact with someone like this is a very good choice. As for the situation on the first day before school started when I spoke to Shiraishi, Seiki Kusuo already had a rough understanding. That's because Shiraishi, he thought Seiki was talking to someone else. Because his presence was so low that he believed no one could possibly see him at the start of school. Ah, what a pitiful child. Unlike the one next to me. Seiki looked toward his left, where someone was shaking a tree. Seiki, let's settle this once and for all. Seiki. Ever since he went to the Toy City a few days ago and had a showdown with Itsuki, the guy had completely changed. Afterward, he kept bothering Seiki, seizing every chance to challenge him to a match. Yar, didn't I already lose to you in rock paper scissors yesterday? Why are you back again? Itsuki said with high spirits, games like that don't mean anything. Let's do a proper one this time, no holding back. Your character has totally shifted, hey. After getting thoroughly crushed at the Toy City, he turned into this. He kept coming for duels. At first it was okay, but over time, Seiki started getting annoyed. Later he deliberately lost a few rock-paper-scissors matches to him and even threw eating contests on purpose, but the guy still wouldn't let up. Seiki thought he hadn't been found out. I'm going to the bathroom, see you. Seiki stood up, left the classroom, and headed to the bathroom. Itsuki followed right after. Wait up, Seiki, these 10 minutes of break time are more than enough for us to settle this once and for all. Seiki walked into the bathroom, turned around, and looked at Itsuki. I'm going to use the toilet now. Stop following me, there's nothing worth comparing anyway. Itsuki. Who said that? If you don't mind, how about we compete this time on who can pee farther and longer? Shut up, bang. The next second, Seiki slammed the door shut. Seriously, I regret it now. Why did I ever do that? After the bell rang for class to start, Seiki returned to the classroom, sat down, and said to Shiraishi-kun, let's walk home together after school. Shiraishi turned around in surprise and said to Seiki, Saiki-kun, don't you think my presence is really low? Someone on your level is willing to be friends with me. It's fine. Low presence, isn't that exactly your charm? And don't overthink it, you and I are the same kind of person. Seiki actually found Shiraishi's low presence very intriguing. Ah, really, I see. Shiraishi smiled and turned back around. Shiraishi, low presence is a charm. No way, stop dreaming, Shiraishi. Seiki just happened to notice you by chance. He's only temporarily interested in you. That won't last. Someone on Saiki-kun's level would never actually want to be friends with you. In Shiraishi's mind, Seiki had already become a high-quality human male. Seiki, really now, Shiraishi-kun, don't underestimate yourself. The charm you possess is far stronger than mine. And I'm definitely not some high-quality human male. Hearing the words, high-quality human male, Seiki couldn't help but think of a certain man in a suit, with slicked-back oily hair like a pig's, wearing glasses, singing and dancing. Seiki sat in his seat and sensed a gaze fixed on him. He turned and saw Kubo Nagisa, his neighbor at the next desk. She was resting her cheeks on both hands, staring at him with her big, sparkling eyes wide open. Is something the matter, Kubo-san? Saiki-kun, are you really interested in Shiraishi-kun? You've been watching him the whole time, like a scientist looking at some new, fascinating species. Chapter 13. Kubo Nagisa. Kubo-san, Are you really that interested in Shiraishi-kun? You've been watching him the whole time, with the same look a scientist gives, some brand new, fascinating species. This girl seems to be able to spot Shiraishi easily too. Kubo Nagisa looked at Seiki with eyes full of curiosity. Because he's special. Kubo-kun, you seem just as interested in Shiraishi. You can find him quickly too, right? I used to be pretty interested in Shiraishi-kun, and I could spot him clearly, but now. Seiki glanced at Kubo Nagisa. She had skin as soft and tender as a baby's, and a pair of gentle, autumn water-like beautiful eyes were fixed intently on him. For some reason I have a really bad feeling. Whatever you do, absolutely do not ask right now, but, what? The very next second, Kubo Nagisa flashed an angelic smile and looked at Seiki as she said, but now, I'm way more interested in you, Seiki-kun. Seiki Kusuo, by the way, why is it so hard for other people to find Shiraishi-kun? Kubo Nagisa watched Seiki Kusuo try to change the subject and smiled. Who knows, but for me, I can find Shiraishi because I see you, Seiki-kun. After all, you've been staring at him the whole time. Meanwhile, Shikimori, who had been watching the interaction between Seiki and Kubo Nagisa the entire time, puffed out her cheeks in anger. Shikimori, for some reason, seeing Seiki Kusuo and Kubo Nagisa chatting so happily makes my chest feel kind of uncomfortable. Could it be that the type Seiki-kun likes is someone like Kubo-san? It's not. Seiki felt something was off. He stood up, grabbed Shiraishi, and said, let's go, Shiraishi-kun. The next class is in a different room. On the way home after school, Kubo, Kudo Hazuki, and Taira Tamao were walking together. Taira Tamao. Today was pretty rare. We actually found Shiraishi-kun twice. Kudo Hazuki. Feels like today's going to be a lucky day. Kubo Nagisa turned her head with a smile. What are you talking about? He's not a four-leaf clover. He's way harder to find than a four-leaf clover. It's already been 2 weeks since school started, and there are tons of guys who still haven't spotted Shiraishi even once. His rarity level has already reached Kappa and Tsuchinoka territory, Kudo Hazuki replied. Kubo Nagisa. True, but Seiki-kun seems to find him effortlessly every time. Seiki-kun. He really is amazing. Maybe that's some kind of special talent. He'd probably make a great detective in the future. I feel like those two things are completely different, Kudo Hazuki said as she patted Taira Tamao on the head. Kubo Nagisa lowered her head. Hehe, Seiki-kun really is an interesting person. While walking home with Shiraishi Junta, Seiki suddenly shivered and looked left and right as if searching for something. Among the people he knew at school, both Shikimori and Izumi had gone to club activities. As for the tree, he was afraid that if they walked home together, he'd get dragged into doing some weird challenge again. What is this feeling? It feels like something bad is about to happen again. Seiki-kun, what's wrong? Are you okay? Shiraishi Junta asked with concern after noticing Seiki's strange expression. I'm fine. Anyway, Shiraishi-kun, you don't have to keep putting yourself down. Even if you can't step onto the stage of youth, every person has their own value in life. Don't underestimate yourself. Yes, thank you. Shiraishi Junta scratched his head in confusion. How does he know what I'm thinking inside? Maybe I said a bit too much. Whatever. Then see you later. I'm home. Shiraishi Junta waved and headed toward his house. The morning air in the park was very fresh. Many students were gathered there waiting for friends or eating breakfast. Seiki stood under a tree, seemingly waiting for someone. Good morning, Seiki-kun. Seiki turned around. Good morning, Kubo-san. Are you waiting for someone? I suppose so. Kubo Nagisa stepped closer and closer until she was almost pressed against him. Standing in the sunlight, she looked up at Seiki. So, are you waiting for me? Seiki crossed his arms over his chest and answered without mercy, no. Kubo Nagisa looked disappointed. Then let me guess. You're waiting for Shiraishi-kun, right? Why are you so interested in him, Seiki-kun? Because we're the same kind of person, so I find him interesting. Really? Then what about me? I feel like we're the same kind of person too. Don't you think I'm way more interesting than Shiraishi-kun? No, how can you say that? Look, it's Shiraishi-kun. Seiki looked in the direction Kubo Nagisa was pointing. Yar, he finally showed up. Kubo Nagisa leaned close to Seiki's ear and whispered, what do you think? If you say hi to him, will he not even see you? He won't. Seriously, what is this woman even saying? There's no way he'd ignore me like last time. After yesterday's exchange of friendship, there's no chance Shiraishi would do that again. Oh, is that so? Kubo Nagisa tilted her head towards Seiki with a smile, then hopped 2 meters away in front of him. Seiki saw Shiraishi Junta getting closer and closer until he was right in front of them. He started to raise his hand to greet him. Good morning, Shiraishi. Before he could finish, Shiraishi walked straight past Seiki as if the two of them didn't know each other at all. Second time in a row. Seiki inwardly complained as he reached out, grabbed Shiraishi by the back, and turned him around. Shiraishi-kun, what are you doing? Why are you ignoring me? Huh, Saiki-kun, were you calling me? Shiraishi replied, looking a bit confused. Sorry, Saiki-kun, I thought you were greeting Kubo-san. What, after yesterday's friendship negotiation, this guy still thinks I can't see him? Kubo Nagisa stood to the side watching Seiki's face grow darker and darker. She showed half her face, turned her head, and smiled, creating a stark contrast with Seiki's black expression, like an angel and a demon. Ha ha ha, good morning, Shiraishi-kun. Just now I was telling Saiki-kun, what if you say hi to him and he completely ignores you? Ah, really, sorry, Saiki-kun, sumimasen. Sai, whatever, just don't let it happen again. You should know I can see you. Seiki answered with a dark face. Saiki-kun, are you okay? Your face looks so dark. Kubo Nagisa rubbed Seiki's cheek and asked. When Seiki didn't answer, Kubo Nagisa took advantage and pinched his soft cheeks, stretching them. This girl is definitely doing this on purpose. She's absolutely standing here on purpose just to analyze how Shiraishi would react. Seiki removed the pale little hand that was wreaking havoc on his face. I'm fine. Kubo Nagisa poked Shiraishi's arm. What's wrong, Shiraishi-kun? Look, Saiki-kun's so mad his hair turned pink. What are you going to do about it? My hair is pink to begin with. Shiraishi raised his arm and held out the milk in his hand to Seiki. Here, Saiki-kun, when you're upset, you should get more calcium. Yar, I already said I'm fine. I'm not mad. As he spoke, Seiki casually took Shiraishi's milk and started drinking it. So cute. Kubo Nagisa watched this scene and smiled even more happily. He still drank it. With that, Shiraishi felt relieved. He turned to Kubo and gave her a thumbs up. Thanks, Kubo-san. Kubo Nagisa waved her hand. You're welcome. Why are you thanking her? Chapter 14. A strange atmosphere. The morning sunlight was perfect for a walk. On the way to school, Seiki and Kubo Nagisa were walking together as if. Fortunately, there was also a Shiraishi tagging along beside them. As soon as Seiki and Kubo Nagisa stepped into the classroom, Shikimori and Izumi came over. Good morning, Seiki. Did you come to school with Kubo-san today? The former's tone carried a hint of disappointment, while the latter sounded cheerful. Seiki patted Shiraishi Junta on the shoulder. Look, there's also Shiraishi-kun. Shikimori and Izumi jumped in surprise. Whoa, no way, I didn't even notice. So Shiraishi-kun, you were here too. Good morning, Shiraishi said before returning to his seat. He was already used to this. Yar, even when walking with someone as popular as Kubo-san, no one notices. Seiki had originally thought that if someone with such low presence stood next to a highly popular person, their presence would naturally increase. Apparently not. After the first period ended and just as the second period was about to begin, Shiraishi went up to the teacher's podium, said a few words, and returned to his seat. Shiraishi-kun always goes to ask the teacher questions after class, huh? Kubo Nagisa said while looking at Shiraishi. Shiraishi turned around, saw Kubo poking Seiki's arm, and replied, I just go to remind the teacher that I didn't skip class. Huh, but you're always right here. Shiraishi turned his head back. Even though I'm here, to make the teacher actually see me, I have to speak really loudly. That might make people think I'm weird. Seiki and Kubo thought at the same time, poor guy. So Shiraishi-kun has never been called on by a teacher before. Nope, Kubo said somewhat enviously, that's nice. Then, Shiraishi-kun, would you ever want to speak up in front of the whole class just once? Shiraishi Junta. No way. That sounds like a hassle, and I'd be really nervous. Oh, really? Kubo then turned to Seiki and said, hey, Saiki-kun, don't you want to see? I don't. I won't let you disrupt Shiraishi-kun's normal life. Seiki rejected her firmly and decisively. He could guess with his toes what this girl was planning. Hey, this way Shiraishi-kun's presence might actually go up. Aren't you curious, Saiki-kun? You don't want Shiraishi-kun's presence to stay this low forever, do you? Seiki paused for a moment, seemingly thinking it over, then glanced at Kubo Nagisa. The latter smiled. Hee. Shiraishi shivered. Hearing the conversation behind him, he had a really bad feeling. Don't tell me. The teacher on the podium was explaining a problem and turned to face the class. So, who can answer this question? Kubo Nagisa bounced up, raised her hand, and shouted, "Me, teacher." The teacher smiled approvingly. Good job, Kubo-san. Then, in the next second, Kubo Nagisa clenched her small, soft pink fist with her left hand, tapped her own head, stuck out her tongue, and said, "I don't know. But I think Shiraishi-kun knows the answer." I knew it. Shiraishi jolted. No way. The teacher on the podium noticed Shiraishi. Oh, so Shiraishi is here after all. Then you answer this one. Shiraishi slowly stood up and looked back at Seiki and Kubo. Kubo gave him a thumbs up, while Seiki looked at him with encouraging eyes. Omega heart. No, Seiki-kun, Kubo-san, this isn't something worth giving a thumbs up for. I didn't ask you to do this. You really did a number on me. I. Just so we're clear, this has nothing to do with me. I didn't do this. Then Shiraishi looked at Kubo. I don't know how to do this question at all. The latter held up 2 fingers in a peace sign. It's fine, no problem at all. I've got a huge problem here. He then turned to Seiki with pitiful eyes. I. South and North Australopithecus. South and North Australopithecus. Correct. You may sit down. Shiraishi let out a sigh of relief and sat back down. Seriously, you knew the answer to that one, didn't you? Seiki looked at Kubo. Hee, you saw right through me. Seiki looked at Kubo speechlessly. You're 3rd in our grade. It'd be weirder if you didn't know this question. That's not entirely true. For example, I don't know question number 5 at all. If the teacher calls on me for that one, I'm done for. So if that happens, Seiki-kun, you have to help me out, okay? Then next, Kubo will explain question number 5. LL. Being called on by the teacher twice in a row is actually pretty impressive. Kubo looked at Seiki with a soft, weak voice. Seiki-kun, help me. Yar. Kubo Nagisa. Yar. Oh opening parenthesis, oh. Seiki. Are you a genius or what? After school. Kubo weakly slumped over her desk. Woo, Seiki-kun. This has nothing to do with me. Didn't I give you the answer later? Kubo puffed out her cheeks. That's not the point. The whole class laughed at me. Won't you comfort me even a little? I refuse. Seiki-kun is so heartless. Thanks for the compliment. Then Seiki stood up, picked up his bag, and prepared to leave. But Kubo grabbed his arm, pressing it right into that valley. Wait, don't leave so fast. I'm not done yet. Seiki tugged his arm a few times without success and gave up. What is it? Kubo picked up her phone with her left hand and pointed at an app on the screen. Seiki-kun, do you use this app to chat? Seiki glanced at it. Yeah, I do. Seiki had already noticed that a strange atmosphere was building up in the classroom. Didn't expect that. Seiki's really hiding his depths. Woo, he's already so close with Shikimori-san, and now he's not even letting my Kubo-san go. The boys in the class were distorted with jealousy. Even Shina Mahiru turned around and looked a few times before lowering her head, seemingly thinking about something. There was no helping it. Kubo-san was one of the top beauties in the class, with a slender waist, graceful curves, and those slightly clenched little hands, all attributes that added points. She was on the same level as Shikimori and Shina Mahiru. Kitagawa Marin. Hey, Shikimori, look how close those two are. Aren't you going to go stop them? Right now, black aura was practically rising off Shikimori. A girl consumed by resentment could be pretty terrifying, and even the usually bold Kitagawa Marin didn't dare get too close. What made it even more infuriating was that Shikimori had never even gotten the chance to exchange contact info with Seiki Kusuo. Seeing this scene made her heart ache, giving her that classic, but I was here first, feeling. I was the first one to meet Seiki. I used to sit right next to him too. So why do I feel like the third wheel in a romance manga? It's so frustrating. At this moment, Shikimori was radiating full, white studies, energy, glaring at Kubo as if she were looking at a blonde homewrecker. Kubo Nagisa seemed completely unaware of the situation in the classroom. So then. Chapter 15. Master Seiki. In the blink of an eye, Shikimori was already standing in front of Seiki Kusuo and Kubo Nagisa. Kubo Nagisa glanced at her once and didn't look again. Ahem, ahem, cough 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 cough. Until Shikimori felt like she was about to cough up her lungs. Seiki looked over. What's wrong, Shikimori-san? Are you okay? Shikimori-san, do you want some throat lozenges? Drink more hot water. Kubo Nagisa looked at Shikimori and asked. When Shikimori saw that Kubo was still holding onto Seiki's arm, her expression darkened. So infuriating. Tell me, Seiki, do you really like big boobs that much? Are you just that into huge breasts? Is it because mine aren't big enough? Is that why you won't shake her off? But my figure isn't any worse than hers. It's not. Kubo-san, isn't it a bit inappropriate to cling to a boy like that in the classroom? Shikimori looked at Kubo Nagisa with a gentle smile. The latter finally let go of his arm and met Shikimori's gaze. You're right, this might make Seiki-kun feel shy. Shikimori's mouth twitched. I don't think the issue is whether Seiki feels shy or not. You can't just randomly hug boys like that. Oh, thanks for your concern, but I don't do this with every boy. While the two were exchanging polite concern, Seiki saw that the situation was turning bad. He quietly slipped to the back of the crowd, grabbed the nearby Shiraishi who was watching the show, and said, Yar yar, looks like they're about to start talking about girl stuff. Let's go ahead. But, before Shiraishi could react, he was already being dragged away by Seiki. By the time the two girls still discussing things in the classroom realized Seiki had already left, they also parted ways. Shikimori walked toward the volleyball club with slightly flushed cheeks. Ah, what am I doing? I couldn't control myself at all. The moment I saw Seiki getting close with another girl, I just lost it. Thinking back on what I just did, it's so embarrassing. Kubo Nagisa stared at her phone. She still hadn't added his contact info. She bit her lip. Kubo, are you okay? Want to go grab some tea? Yeah, and maybe some dessert or cake too. Taira Tamao and Kudo Hazuki walked over and asked. Kubo Nagisa stood up, smiled, and hugged both of them. Let's go. While walking with Seiki, Shiraishi suddenly spoke up. Seiki-kun, why'd you leave so fast? Seiki gave Shiraishi a sideways glance. You little punk, you actually wanted to keep watching the drama. I want to get home early and enjoy my coffee jelly. Shiraishi. Weekend. In the supermarket, Seiki was walking around when he spotted the last large-size coffee jelly. He reached out to grab it, but another hand touched it at the same time. Both hands pulled back, and they faced each other. A youthful girl wearing a red hooded top, a red cap, black thigh-high stockings, shorts, and a crossbody bag looked at Seiki. Huh, she looks a little familiar. Isn't this the skilled girl I ran into at the arcade last time? Seiki Kusuo looked at the girl in front of him and fell into thought. Ah, it's you. Doma Umaru looked at Seiki in surprise. You're that pink-haired pro from the arcade last time. Seiki raised an eyebrow. Pink-haired? Pro? Who taught you to give people names like that? My name is Seiki Kusuo, not pink-haired pro. Doma Umaru scratched her head. Ah, sorry, I'm Doma Umaru. Nice to meet you. Doma Umaru, huh, so it's you. Ah, wait, why haven't you come back to that arcade since then? Doma Umaru said excitedly, I staked out the place waiting for you for so long, but you never showed up. Why were you staking me out? Seiki's head was full of question marks. He didn't think he was that close with this girl. Of course it's to ask you to be my master. Doma Umaru continued on her own. That day was the first time you picked up that game, and you played it so amazingly. You even spotted the flaw in my combo right away. Plus, I asked around and found out you played a ton of games against other people that day. You've got to be a gaming pro. I want you to teach me how to play. Please, Master Seiki, and then play with me every day. You've got some nerve, just straight up calling me master. I refuse. Why refuse? Why should I agree? Ah, come on, please, Master Seiki. The next second, Doma Umaru put on a pitiful, pleading expression. Cute, of course it's cute, it would work on most people, but I refuse. Why? Seiki Kusuo looked at the Doma Umaru in front of him. You're Doma Umaru, right? You don't know me, doesn't my name ring any bells? Doma Umaru froze for a second, then muttered under her breath, Seiki Kusuo, ah. You're that Seiki Kusuo who's number 1 in every subject at Sobu High. Yar yar, you finally remembered. You're also number 1 in your grade, Doma Umaru. Doma Umaru clutched her head. This is bad, I've been exposed, and we're at the same school. What do I do? What do I do? I've been found out. What should I do? Seiki Kusuo looked at the still panicking Doma Umaru, reached out directly, took the last coffee jelly, and was about to put it in his basket and leave when Doma Umaru grabbed his hand. Wait, you can't go. You found out my secret. Doma Umaru was using all her strength to hold Seiki Kusuo back, incidentally pulling the coffee jelly toward her too. Seiki Kusuo reached out and pulled the coffee jelly back. So what? I don't know anything. Wait, just hear me out first, Master Seiki. Stop calling me Master first, then I'll listen. Okay, Master Seiki, I can't let anyone know what I'm like outside of school, playing Street Fighter like a total otaku girl obsessed with games. At school, my image is that my family doesn't let me read manga, so I don't know anything about games. And in everyone's eyes, I'm just the girl who reads books in the library at home. Why do you have such a weird persona? No choice, life forces my hand. I get it, I won't tell anyone. Happy now, Doma Umaru. So you'll be my master after all. How did you arrive at that conclusion? Then let's exchange contact info first. Just call me Umaru. After they added each other, Umaru put the coffee jelly into her cart and walked off, still shouting, thanks a lot, Master Seiki. Yar yar, still too naive. Seiki Kusuo looked in the direction Umaru left, shook his head, then pulled another coffee jelly out of his pocket and placed it in his cart. Seiki was carrying 2 big bags when he passed by a Brahana park and spotted Shiraishi Junta sitting on a bench inside. He walked over. Shiraishi-kun, what a coincidence. Out for a walk. With that, Seiki Kusuo walked up to Shiraishi Junta's bench and sat down right next to him. Huh, isn't this Shiraishi-kun and Saiki-kun? Didn't expect to run into you guys on a holiday. What a coincidence. If you want to read 30+ advanced chapters, visit patreon.com/reruo. To be continued.